Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Edwards, and I'm a senior wildlife ecology and management student at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. And I first want to thank you for taking the time to visit my poster presentation virtually. This poster is the culmination of my independent research where I investigated nest site selection of blue-winged teal in agriculturally dominant areas of southeast Wisconsin. To introduce you to the purpose of this research, I want to direct your attention to Figure 1. This figure shows the breeding blue-winged teal numbers from 1973 to 2021, and we can see that the population has yet to recover since their peaks in the 1970s, whereas continentally, blue-winged teal populations have rebounded. As such, the Wisconsin DNR sought to investigate some of these causes and hypothesized that the lack of grasslands and emergent wet meadows due to enrollment in agricultural practices may result in declines of available nesting and brood rearing habitat. We believe that the results from this research can better guide habitat managers in successfully supporting blue-winged teal production. Mr. Ron Gaddy, as seen in Figure 3, the right-hand picture, was the former Wisconsin waterfowl research scientist, and he spearheaded this research in 2008, 2009, and 2012. Ron defined 6 study areas in southeast Wisconsin, shown in Figure 2, and to track hens, he surgically fixed VHF transmitters on hens and had technicians locate their nests within these study areas. I then generated 3 random points per used nest and created 200 and 800 meter buffers around these points and the known nests. We measured land cover composition within these buffers using WISCLAN 2 raster data and program R. An example can be seen in Figure 5. Additionally, we measured distance to open water, emergent wet meadow, and development. Next, we used generalized linear mixed models to assess the probability of use for all the covariates that we measured. All covariates and our hypothesized effects on nest site selection can be seen in Table 1. Our top model consisted of covariates seen in Figure 6 and what kind of relationship they had on nest site selection. Figure 7 represents the 4 strongest predictors within our top model, which was distance to emergent wet meadow, composition of emergent wet meadow at 800 meters, composition of grasslands at 200 meters, and composition of forested landscapes at 200 meters. I also want to mention that these data are standardized and therefore do not represent real values or distances on the x-axis. For distance to emergent wet meadow, we see a strong negative relationship. And as distance to emergent wet meadow increases, we see that use is lowered to less than 5%, if not 0, which ecologically makes sense. Understandably, we see a positive relationship associated with emergent wet meadow at 800 meters. And as composition of emergent wet meadow increases within that 800 meter buffer, we see that use has a positive relationship. And then as we look to grassland composition, we see at the 200 meter scale, we see the same positive relationship, and that as composition of grasslands increase within this 200 meter buffer, use is positively influenced. And then for forested landscapes at 200 meters, we see another strong negative relationship in terms of use. And again, ecologically, this makes sense just due to the prevalence of mesopredators and avian predators that are either within or around forested landscapes. So with these results, we strongly encourage restoration efforts to avoid forested and developed landscapes. And additionally, the conservation of grasslands and emergent wet meadows in close proximity to each other should be considered when you're planning these restoration efforts, or when you're planning to purchase a property with the intent of restoring this property for waterfowl production. And after further literature review, I would also encourage future researchers to include a landscape scale buffer of say 5,000 meters and a finer scale buffer around less than 50 meters. And this will allow you to better understand blue-winged teal nest site selection and their behaviors. If anybody has questions, please feel free to email me at jedwa186@uwsp.edu. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the conference.